Hey guys, welcome back to Sensei. Say what now? I'm your host, Nastasia Sensei, and today we're going to be talking about dating in Japan and unwelcoming neighbors. So let's just get into this first story. So this one is from r/Japan Life, and it's basically relationship advice the OP is asking for. Title: Rant on status of dating in Japan as a foreigner. Yeah, I feel like I know where this is gonna go. Alright, so OP says, I broke up 1 year ago and took some time for myself. I recently decided to start using dating apps and see how it goes. Never used before. Yeah, honestly, people should just stay away from dating apps. It's like a 0.000000001% chance that you're gonna find your partner on there. I digress. Continuing. Since I'm fluent in Japanese, I went directly for pairs. Just so y'all know, pairs is basically the Japanese version of like Hinge and Bumble and stuff. That's all. In the last 3 weeks, I've been out to 6 dates. Oh my god. If I'm having a bad experience. Yeah, because you're using dating apps, buddy. Alright, so first he made bullet points. He made a lot of bullet points. First girl, we go for lunch. I pay, decent conversation. At the end, I tell her that I'd like to spend some more time with her and gave her my line. Also, if you don't know, Line is their version of WhatsApp, I guess you could say. I digress. Back to the story. I told her to reach out if she feels the same. She reaches out and says she wants to go for Manzenakacho. What is Monzen Nakacho? It must be an area. It gotta be an area. Monzen Nakacho. I gotta check this out. 1 second. Monzen Nakacho. Where is this? Where? Oh, it's in Tokyo. Koto City in Tokyo. Okay. Good to know, I guess. Maybe they got some good nightlife there. I digress. I told her to reach out if she feels the same. She reaches out and says she wants to go to Manzen Nakacho. Yeah, sure, why not? We pick a day and time and keep chatting in the meantime. The day of the date, she stops replying to my messages and she doesn't show up. Lol. Well, that happens. People get stood up. That happens. My guy just probably isn't used to it. I don't know. Second girl, we go for dinner. She tells me that she's been with 5 different foreigners in the last 2 years. Gaijin Hunter! I don't ask her line. She doesn't get back. Fair enough, I'd say. Third girl, we go for dinner. Very nice conversation. We stay at the restaurant up to 3 hours. Whoa, alright, y'all had a good conversation. She likes watching YouTubers, playing games. I'd recommend one to watch to her. We exchange line. The next morning, she reaches out saying that she's watched my recs and we chat a bit. I reply again after work and she never replies anymore. Lol. Dang. Just so you know, this ain't, it ain't. This happens. People be ghosting people here. And people just be ghosting in general, especially on dating apps. Like, why? Like, I feel like people do that because in their mind, it's not that serious. You're just a stranger on a dating app. So, and considering this guy hasn't been in a relationship in a while and has never used dating apps, he's very new to this. He's new to this, he not true to this. Anyways, fourth girl, we go for lunch. We don't connect much. Fair enough. Fifth girl, we go for dinner. Great convo. She's fun and we drink quite a bit. We exchange line as usual. She reaches out to thank for the dinner the same night and we keep chatting. After about 20 minutes of chatting, she stops replying and disappears. Whoa, buddy. Yikes on a bike. Yikes on a bike. Okay. Sixth girl, we go for dinner on weekday since she's busy. I go out of work a bit earlier to meet her. 15 minutes before the appointment, she sends a message asking if we can move the date because it might start to rain. That is such a weird excuse. She didn't want to see you, bro. I'm sorry. She just wasn't that interested. I say, okay, sure. She never replies anymore. Yeah, she just wasn't that into you, buddy. Not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but I've dated before in Japan, and this is completely opposite of my previous experiences, lol. Just wanted to rant about it. Curious if others have had similar experiences recently. I haven't had similar experiences recently, but when I was in the dating pool, it was yucky. Yucky.
Yeah.
Like, I think the last time I went on a whatever the words I'm looking for, online date. I think it was through Bumble. Um, what happened? I don't remember what happened. I think we just stopped talking, and I don't think the conversation was that great. Like, it was cool in the messages, but once we met up, we really didn't like connect, and I think we just kind of ghosted each other. I don't know, but like I have a lot of experiences. I have good experiences dating through the dating apps. Like at first I started on Tinder, and that was what Tinder is for. So that's what Tinder did. Tinder got me through a bad breakup, and I was grateful for that. Thank you, Tinder. But then we felt a little more sophisticated, and we moved on to Bumble, and that's where I thought I would find something serious. Turns out there's not much seriousness on Bumble either. And I tried Hinge. It's just as ghetto, just as ghetto. So, yeah, buddy, it's not you. It ain't you. I think it's been like, maybe like 3 years for me since I've been on a dating app. That's good, maybe 2 to 3 years. Because I tried, I just got tired of it. Ghosting each other, being interested, saying you're interested, but not really being interested. Saying you're looking for something serious, but you're not looking for something serious. Being married, like finding married people on there. Too many married people on these dating apps too. I think somebody said this, the dating pool would be better if married people would get the fuck out. And I happen to agree with that. Anyways, let's look at some of these comments. So somebody said, I think in your mind, exchanging contact info and texting means they're interested, but then they lose interest. The reality is they were never interested to continue in the first place. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. That's so true. They were not interested. Yeah, unfortunately. I think a lot of people spend time on dating apps because they're bored. Like, at least I know for me, it's been times where I would literally download Bumble and just swipe left. It became doom swiping because I wasn't really interested in talking to somebody. I just wanted to get on the app. And I was influenced whenever I would watch like someone dating on a TV show that I'm watching, or like that meet cute. And I'm like, I want that. You get a meet cute by going out. And I've been outside. Okay, I've joined some clubs and I've yet to meet anybody. So now I'm not thinking about dating romantically. I'm just focusing on my baby, which is this podcast. I'm focusing on this podcast, my baby. That's beside the point. Let's look at another one. So OP responds, I can understand, and I'm kind of familiar with how Japanese people tend to show that they're not interested. But don't text me the next day if you have zero interest. I felt that was very unusual. The first day kept chatting for 2 weeks. Since we couldn't meet before that, why on earth would you chat for 2 straight weeks and then not show up? They were bored. Oh, somebody said, because as they were talking to you, they were still using the apps and they found someone they met more interesting. That is also true. You were a back burner, unfortunately, buddy. I'm so sorry, OP. I'm so sorry. But it happens, Yeah, as far as dating goes, it's like, I don't know. I feel like dating is just cooked, as the kids say. It's just, I tried apps, I've tried real life. I really believe that my person is not here in Japan. I just believe that they're not here, because what the fuck? But at the same time, I know that if I was in a relationship, I would be too focused on that relationship to even be trying to make my dreams come true, which is to do, not necessarily be a podcast host, because I didn't grow up thinking, I want to be a podcast host. Oh, how lovely would that be? Like, that wasn't on my brain. This is just like an avenue into the direction that I want to go, which is entertainment. So, anyways, OP, Gomenasai, I hope, things work out for you. I think that was posted like a year ago, so hopefully things have gotten better. All right, moving on to unwelcoming neighbors. All right, so this is from r/Japan Life, and it's called I Finally Opened My Door Today. Oh, we opening doors? I never open my door unless it's a package. But if it's somebody I don't know, hell no. Oh. Hell no. All right, so OP says, I am a college student and have been staying at my current apartment since March last year. And I would say I don't have very welcoming neighbors. I live on the second floor, and the apartment that I'm living at has very thin walls, so I can sometimes hear what the men living downstairs are saying. Yeah, my apartment now doesn't have super thin walls, but I can still hear people under me like walk, and I can hear people walking up and down the stairs. That's how I know if my package is coming, or if I order a pizza and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my pizza is coming. That's how I know, because that's how thin the walls are. But my old apartment, I was living in a shoebox, and I literally heard when my neighbor was like, I don't want to say coughing, when he was coughing. I know he smoked because I can smell cigarette smoke, and like I can tell sometimes I heard when he was lighting it up. That's how thin the walls were. And one night I heard when he was getting it on. I heard it all, and I'm like, okay, Mr. Neighbor-san, I hear you. Oh, all right. Which let me know that he heard about some of those Tinder dates that we gon' forget because they just wasn't that good. They just the dates ended awfully. I'll just say that. They ended awfully, for me at least. They ended awfully for me. And that's why I say never again. Never again. Moving on. So, there's an old man who lives next to me, and there's a man in his 30s living right under my floor. So sometimes that man who lives downstairs makes crazy noises like banging at his wall and murmuring about something. I don't hear what exactly he says, but I can hear this and that. Sometimes it sounds like furniture falling down. Damn. Is he angry? That sounds crazy. Sometimes there sounds like furniture is falling down. And after a few minutes, the old man next to my room hits his freaking wall. And this happens sometimes in the morning, noon, and sometimes night. And that old man sometimes just starts hitting his damn wall, and while getting out of his apartment, he bangs the wall next to my door. One time I was sleeping and I hear a loud bang on my door. I imagine bang, 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 bang. You know, like the police. Police! LAPD! LAPD, open up! LAPD! Anyways, one time I was sleeping and I hear a loud bang on my door. I wake up and I don't know if it's my door or whose wall since I'm not fully awake. And since I live alone, I try to avoid them as much as I can. Also, I am scared. I'd be scared too. What do you mean? Somebody you just wake up to banging? I don't even know if I would investigate, but not really. Not like entirely investigate. So, fast forward to today, 11 p.m. earlier. I was watching Netflix. Boiled water for my ramen. The guy downstairs was, I don't know, watching something or talking to someone because I could hear him laugh. And I was eating whilst watching my phone. This old man hits his wall for like 3 to 4 times and gets out and starts banging on my door. So, I was really scared at this point, but I opened the door. Why? Why would you do that? Actually, that would have been a great segue for say what now? I'm still learning, guys. I'm still learning. Bear with me. Bear with me. Anyways, so I was really scared at this point, but I opened the door and asked him, "What's up?" He goes, "Are you the one making noise?" I said I was eating dinner and watching my phone and asked him if it was too loud. And he tells me that he is trying to sleep, but there is this noise every day of hitting something. And I say, "That is not me." And he goes, "Yeah, koko ni something, something moiru desu yo." And I say, "No, it's just me and it's not me making that noise." And I try to explain, but he goes, "Watashi no something anatashi kai nai da yo." And he goes, "Mite mo wakaranai kara doshiyo ne?" Honestly, don't know exactly what I read, but from context, the other man is blaming him for the noise and telling him to shut the fuck up. And he's like, no, that's not me. That's not me. I say I understand him, but that is not me hitting the walls. I was so scared that I started stuttering. He went away afterwards, but I've lost my sleep now. Bruh. So this man thinking that this is you? Seriously? Oh, come on, girl. Or boy. I'm not sure what OP is. Oh, wow. Alright, let's look at some of these comments. Okay, before I even look at the comments, what the hell? Like, me, I don't even... Okay, first of all, I would not have opened the door, okay? Like, that the banging would have just banged. Unless it was, like, police or something, and they were like... I forget how to say police in Japanese. I really need to brush up on my Japanese. Anyways, unless it was the police, because I would look through the peephole, but I wouldn't open the door. Like... She was feeling... They were feeling a little brave. That's what I'll say. They were feeling a little brave. Alright, so, comment... Wait, so you did not tell him what you just told us? It's the guy downstairs. Or did you just say, it's not me? Right, because what the hell? Like, what? Oh, girl, boy. Sorry, I don't know what gender OP is. I gotta use them, they. Okay, so they said, I didn't directly say it's the man down, and I'm actually scared of the man down because sometimes he is screaming by himself, and I've seen the two of them talk before, and that old man hears the man down too while he hits his walls. Someone else replies, you aren't addressing the man downstairs. You are informing your neighbor where the sound is coming from. Slap my forehead for the second consecutive time. Right. Another one said, you avoided doing the one thing that might have solved your problem. Is telling that guy that the other guy did it. But dude accused you that there's a guy living in your place. If you had just told him he's been hearing the guy downstairs, all your problems would have been resolved. Actually, yes. So true. So true. Okay, so OP has an update. They said, Jesus, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. Nope, I just lied. That is not the OP. This is someone else's comment. Okay. I gotta do better at screenshotting these because that's beside the point. All right, another commenter said, and this is a long comment. That's why I thought it was an update. Yeah, it's a long comment. That's okay, let's get into it. Jesus, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. My advice is to never open the door again. Never open the door again. Literally, the door, even if I know I got a package coming, I still don't, if I don't feel like answering the door, I don't answer the door because they're just going to leave it there and I'll get it later. And no one's going to steal it. Knock on wood. No one's going to steal it. So, my advice is to never open the door again. You can report his banging to the landlord and explain your view. The noise isn't coming from you, but the person below you. They will understand and explain it to your neighbor. I had a similar issue. Complaints were always coming my way from the landlord via phone, and I just said, it's not me, that's strange, but I do hear loud noises at 2 a.m., etc. from this apartment, probably pointing down. The complaint moves on, and the guy actually quiets down after that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do, but protect yourself. I would use headphones, continue around your apartment as you would. You pay for it. You deserve to use it as you normally would. True. True. If I'm paying rent, I am enjoying it, okay? Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I am a homebody and I will stay home if I want to. If someone cancels plans, I am even happier because that means I can stay home. Albeit this year, I am trying to get out more, even if it's just to go for a walk or like go to the gym or whatever. So far, so good. Yesterday, I went to the gym. Today, I'm going out and meeting a friend for coffee, and then I'm gonna go to the gym afterwards. Cause yeah, I let the holiday get the best of me. I let it get the best of me, and I'm not happy about that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about neighbors, unwelcoming neighbors, and just complaints. Back to the comment. If he comes knocking on your door again or bangs the wall like crazy, report to the landlord. Did I say landlord? Report to the landlord. If things escalate or continue, explain to the police. The fact is, your neighbor now knows you're a single woman. Oh, piece of she. Okay. Living by herself and a gaijin, so an easy target for his rage. That is true. I've noticed, well, I guess I haven't noticed, but I've just like seen stories or just people online talking about how they've been harassed by men, and not in like a sexual way, harassed in like I'm gonna get you sucker way. Like, it's a thing, I forget the name, but they like basically shoulder chuck women at train stations. It's a Japanese name for it. I don't know it, but if they see a woman that they know they can get away with it, they'll just like, and like I've read posts where women have gotten chucked so hard that they've fallen. And the guys, they just target women. Like these men are sick. They hate women. And these men actually hate women to the point that they are going to hurt them physically. And there ain't nothing you can do about it because the train stations are so busy. You just get shoulder chucked and that's it. Luckily, and I thank the heavens and my ancestors for making me tall and semi-wide, because ain't nobody fucking with me. Knock on wood. It's been 6 years and people look at me and be like, oh, whoa, giant. Yes. Because I am like low-key as big or bigger than the average Japanese man. So that helps me. That also might be why I'm not successful in dating in this country. Who needs to date when you have hobbies and a podcast, okay? Who needs to date when you got goals to self-better yourself? That's what I tell myself to sleep at night. Anyways, back to the comment. But by subverting direct contact and placing blame on the culprit, you may be able to change the circumstances, but never deal with him directly again. Nothing can come from it. Seriously, actually, it's very true. Just leave him alone and just contact the police like she said, or they said. Your landlord will call/deal with your neighbor and their complaints. And if they don't, the police will help. I complained to the police before about a crazy yelling guy who lived above me, and they didn't engage at first. But they swept the area. I am sure that if I had continued, a second call would have ensued and they'd come warn him. I think that's the end of that comment. And somebody else says, another comment, old man doesn't understand that sound travels in all directions. Or he does and he just doesn't give a fuck. He just wants someone to blame. The foreigner. There are some people like that out here. Next time, tell him you hear it too and that it's coming from downstairs and not to bother you again or you'll call the police. So someone else responded to that. Yeah, once in a while I hear kids running around in the apartment upstairs. I don't mind because that's what kids do. True. I'm very fortunate. I don't have kids who live next to me or below me. I live at the top floor. So it's just me up here. It's like a penthouse suite. So, yeah, I just hear my neighbor sometimes. It's weird. The neighbors next to me are kind of, I don't know, man, they're mysterious. Mysterious and a little strange. So, the only time I see one of them, because I believe it's a lot of people who live there, because they have a lot of shoes outside, and they have a lot of umbrellas open on rainy days, but I only ever see one person. And it's this old lady. Well, she's not super old, but she's up there. She's nice. She's friendly. You know, I speak. She speaks back. I think if I didn't speak, I don't think she would speak. But I try to speak to all my neighbors because I'm like, I'm not a threat. I'm cool. I'm chill. You know, that don't mean come talk to me, but we can, just regular interactions. For the listener, sorry, I was just thinking of a word to say because for some reason my brain short circuits. And I really don't understand how I'm an English teacher. And I don't understand how I'm like a good English teacher at that. Child, anyway, so yeah, so the strange thing about this neighbor or these neighbors is that I know multiple people live in this apartment. But every morning around 5 a.m., oh, excuse me, every, I need some water. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, every morning around 5 a.m., I hear bags rustling, like plastic bags rustling. You know, like how, shopping bags, that sound they make when you fold them? That's what I hear every morning at 5 a.m. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing? And one day I saw her like downstairs by the mail area, the mailboxes. She had like a bunch of bags of pet bottles. And pet bottles are basically, it's not this, but this size or a little bit bigger plastic bottles that you recycle basically. So, excuse me. That's the only time I've seen her with the bags. And I'm like, does she collect these bags? I don't know. But on our balcony, if I look over to the right, it's a ton of stuff over there. It's like low-key giving hoarders. So, and that's the only person I see. But why on rainy days are there 3 umbrellas just propped open, drying on the stairwell? Which I find a little annoying. But I'm like, whatever. I just pass it by. So weird. I digress. So, this commentator was talking about like kids. They don't mind the kids running because that's what kids do. And then she says, then I remember that I live on the top floor and there is no apartment upstairs. They must be running up and down the hallway outside or something, but the way the building is built sure makes it sound like it's upstairs. Yeah, that's true. Even like when there's a playground like next to me, and whenever I open my windows, it literally sounds like the kids are like right here in here, and I'm like, I'm not annoyed by it. I actually find it cheerful or joyful whenever I hear the kids play. I'm like, oh, that reminds me of when I was playing with my little neighbors. Like recently they've had like a gang of bikes. I don't know why I said gang, because it'd be like 7 bikes out there, and they look like junior high school students just like laughing. And then they were playing some game. It sounded like their version of Red Rover or something. It was cute. I digress. So someone responded to that comment. Had a similar experience some years back. Turns out it was the apartment on the same floor. Oh, that's crazy. But on the other side of the building. Say what now? That was whack. Don't do that again. That was forced. Don't force it, baby. The way sound travels in these lightly built mansions. Yeah. So mansions, they do quote mansions. As y'all know, mansions in the western area are these big ass houses, billion-dollar homes. Mansions in Japan are basically modern apartments. I don't live in a mansion because I ain't got it like that. But my apartment is quaint. It's cute and quaint. So anyways, the way sound travels in these lightly built mansions is pretty incredible. I guess the upside is that it's a good thing for earthquake safety since it disperses vibrations everywhere. That's true. Yeah, I don't know, man. OP, I hope you got it together. I really hope that guy stopped messing with you. Like, I really, really hope that you are safe and that they actually learned that the man downstairs was committing these loud, heinous, noise-making crimes. Okay, it's not a crime to be loud. It's just annoying. I am super grateful that my neighbors are not nice. At least the one I've seen. I haven't actually met them. I did learn that traditionally, I don't know if people do this now, but I was watching this show, Kotaro Lives Alone. It's basically that little boy. He's like 4 or 5 years old. I forgot what happens to his parents, but he basically lives in this apartment by himself. He goes to the grocery store, he cooks, he cleans, he does everything alone as a little kid. Super freaking cute. I watched the anime and the live version. Anime was much better. But yeah, like he brought his neighbors when he moved in. I don't know how does this little boy move in to this apartment building. Well, once he moved in, he went and greeted every neighbor, knocked on the door, gave him a little gift. I think it was some tissues or something, and said, my name is Kotaro. I'm gonna be living here. Please treat me nice," or something like that, like, or let's get along. And I'm like, wow, that is so cute. And so I said, if I move again in this country, I'm gonna do that because that's so nice. I didn't do that here because I didn't know about it. I learned about it like 6 months into me living here. Like, well, it's too late for that. But at the same time, I was very antisocial, even more so than I am now. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not about to do that. But I said, if I move into another apartment, I will do that because I think it's pretty cool. It's a way to connect with the community. And that means I have to learn more Japanese if I'm going to do something like that. But who knows? I don't even know if I'm going to be living here in the next 3 years. We'll see. Anyways, that's all for today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. I hope you guys have a great day, you know? It's wintertime right now I'm recording this. Some places it's snowy. Where I live at, it's just cold AF. It's not snowy, but it's just super cold. Yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.